Hey everyone, hope all of you are doing great. So in the last video we had completed our NFT card component. In this video we're going to complete the collection section. Okay, so here I have already opened the repo in the code editor. Make sure you do that. And now what we can do, we're going to create a folder and we'll call it collection. Inside that we're going to create a file, collection.jsx, and in the same file we're going to create the css file, collection.modules.css. Okay, these are the two files we need. Now let's simply type rafc, and we have to import the css file so let me give this command style, and that's coming from the same directory. Okay, so that's the import we have. Now we have to create one more folder in the same collection folder, and we'll call it day component. Okay, because this collection component is divided in 3 different components. Okay, we will have a tab and we can switch into the different tabs, and each of the tab will contain different data. Okay, so I'll create a component by the name day component. Okay, so let's create a file for that. So day.jsx, and we have to create the file in the same folder, module.css. Okay, simply type rafce, and we have to do the internal import our css file, and that's coming from the same directory. Okay, that's the day component. Close this one, and that's close this one, and now we can start working on our collection component. Okay, so this is what we're going to build. Okay, top list creator. So if we click on this, we can switch to the data. You can see all the data is changing, and this is what we are about to build in this video. So let's come back to the code and let's come here, go to this component index.js, because we have to import it first. So that's coming from the same collection, and now we have to export that from here. We'll close that and we'll go to the simple pages index, and in that we have to import, and now we can use it. So where we want to use here. Okay, let's provide that collection component. So that's the way we can able to render the component in our home page. And here we're going to simply copy the titles and paste it above the filter, and we're going to paste the same thing in the collection as well. Okay, because collection will also have a title, and we'll say that filter by collection. Okay, so let's scroll down and we have to start the application. So npm run dev, click on this 3000, and here we are on the application. Let's scroll down, and here you can see filter by collections, and our filter is also having the title. So that's the data, dynamic data, and that's our collection component. No changes, no breaking changes. So make sure you should always check your code. Okay, so let's come here, bring the terminal down, and let's remove this part. Let's type new. That's okay, that's look perfect. Let's close this one. Now we can start working on our collection.jsx. so we'll have to import a couple of things. So use state, we need use effect. We want to import the, let's say, icon, bs fill, alarm fill. We have to take the fill, calendar date fill. Now we have to take the calendar 3, and that's coming from React icon bootstrap. Okay, so now these are the icon we are using. Now we have to do the import. So we have to import the day component, and we have inside the same directory, but inside this day component file. Okay, now we can start working on our JSX. So let's take a use state, and we'll say it popular. Okay, initially it will be true. So when someone will visit to this page, the home page, we want to render the popular collection. So we are setting that true, and the next use state is going to be following, and this will call false, and third one is going to be, let's say, newses, it will become false. So these are the 3 use state we have. Now let's bring down, we'll take a const card array. We have to take a demo data, and we want to render close to, let's say, 8 component card array, and we have to change this to following array, and we want to display close to 4, and we have a news array, and this will have a, let's say, 6. And the reason why I have taken this different array numbers, because I want to show you the different, when we will switch from one to the other, you will find the difference that the tab is working. Okay, So right now we are going with this demo data, but once we have the data from the API, we're going to render from there. Okay, so these are the three arrays we have. Let's come down. Now what we can do, now let's start working on the JSX. So we're going to take the instance return and we'll have a div. It will have a class called style dot collection, and that will have another div. It will say collection dash title, and that will take h2 and will say top list creators, and that will have a div. It will have a style called collections. Okay, collections. So first collection without s, second collection is with s. Okay, and that will take a div. It will say have a class called collections btn, and we'll take the button tag not on click functions, and in this we have to attach this open popular, and it's not gonna be a self closing button. Okay, so remove that and take a normal button, and in that we're going to type the text. So that's the button. We say, let's say we're going to take the icon, so we'll target our alarm fill icon, and we want to display the text, so last 24 hours. So that's how it will look. You can see working fine. Now simply we have to replicate the button. We have to change this to news. This one is become days. Replicate this, and let's change this to open follower, and this become 30 days. Okay, now we have to change the icon as well. So calendar 3, and the next icon we have is date fill. So here you can see the buttons are working fine, the text is also working fine, and titles is working fine. So we are done with this button component. Okay, so let's come down. We're going to take a dynamic block, and the reason we have taken this, and the reason why we are taking this dynamic block, because this component is going to be dynamic, and this component will display on the base of the click event on any one of these buttons. Okay, so I hope you guys are getting. So in this we're going to say if popular is true, then we want to display the popular component. So inside that we'll take a div. It will have a class, a style, and we'll say collection box. In that we have to take the demo data and we have to loop over it. So it will say lmi, we have to instantly return, and we have to call the component. Okay, day component, and it will have a key i+1. Okay, so that's the component we want to display. Save it. Right now you can see it's displaying fine, and we can able to have that click event function, but nothing's working because we don't have the function. Okay, reload the browser, working fine now. So make it, let's come here, we'll say if following, then we want to display this component. So we'll take a div. It will have the class, same class we want to assign to this as well. So the class we want to assign is the collection box. Inside that we're going to take the following array, and the same component we're going to render. Simply change this following array. Now simply replicate this, and we have to change this to, let's say, news, and this become news array, and the rest should be same. You can see it's working fine. Let's come here. This is also working fine. This is also working fine. Let's come up here. Now copy the following array, and that's what we have to pass here, following array. Now it's perfect. Now let's start creating the functions. So the first function we have to create is this popular, open popular, and it's gonna be array function. If popular is false, then turn it to true, else, and set the other component to false. Okay, so following news, simply copy and replicate that, and do the same thing for other as well. So this become false, true, copy, paste, and copy here, and simply say false, and this become true. Okay, so I believe you guys getting what we are doing here. Okay, we are opening one component at a time and setting rest to false. So let's come here and click on this, nothing is happening. Okay, nothing is happening. Why? Reload the browser and click here, nothing is happening. So let's come back to the code, and can you find the code? What is the problem we are having? Just pause the video and try to look at the code and check what's happening. So the problem we had is here. Okay, we have to change this checking. Okay, so we have the popular, and we have to check for following when we are looking for the following component. So it's gonna be a following, and this become news. So copy and simply pass the news, save it, come here and click on this. Okay, this one is working, but 7, okay, something problem we have. You can see it's working, but we have some problem. Let's come back to the code, and here is the problem we have. So let's do one thing, simply change this, copy this one and change this to popular, and this become following. Okay, I don't know how they switched, maybe I did it, who else can do that? So now we are good to go with this. Now we can come here and check. You can see this, everything's looking fine, everything's working fine, our tabs. So with this we are done with this entire collection component. Okay, everything's looking good. Now let's come back to the CSS and make this side by side. So we're going to target the collection. Width is going to be 100%, padding is going to be 3 RAM and 0. Collection title gonna be, width is going to be 35 em, and margin 0 auto, padding 006 RAM and 0. Text align center, that's how it will look. We'll target the collection title H2, and font size is going to be 3 RAM. Margin bottom is going to be 4 RAM. Collections button, background color is going to be our main BG color. Padding is going to be 0.5 RAM and 1 RAM. Border radius is going to be 4 RAM. Display flex, justify content space between, space around, and 1 RAM. And align them center, and font size is going to be 1.2 RAM. Box shadow var, and we'll have our box shadow custom color. So save it, this is how it will look. Okay, everything's working fine. Let's come down, add collection buttons, and we have our icon color. We'll have a color to the main. Padding is going to be 1 RAM, border none, border radius 4 RAM, cursor pointer, and border 1 pixel solid var, and we have the icon color. Then we have transition all 0.3 second easy in. That's how it will look. Okay, looking perfect. Now we'll target the collection button. On over effect, we want to change the background color to transparent, and color we want to make it icon color. You can see on click event we are getting this nice transparent color, and it's looking perfect. So that's working fine. Now let's come down. We have to target the collection box itself. Width is going to be 80%, and margin 0 auto. Display grid, and grid template column repeat 3 1FR. Gap is going to be 2 RAM. Okay, it's looking perfect. We have to take this media query, and on min device, which is 320 pixels, and max width is going to be let's say 425 pixels. We want to target the collection title, and width is going to be 90%. We'll take the collection box, and width is going to be 90%, this one, and grid template column is going to be 1FR, and gap is going to be 4 RAM. So now it's looking good. You can see we are displaying perfectly. Let's come down. We'll target the collection BTN buttons, and we'll make it font size to 0.7 RAM, little smaller. Okay, so let's come here, simply remove this last from all the button. Now it's look perfect. You can see. So here I'm removing the last. If you want, you can keep it or you can remove it. It's totally up to you. If you want to display only on the desktop, then you can take a spam and make it hide on a mobile device and make it visible on the desktop. Okay, but I'm just removing completely. So that's looking perfect. Now let's take another media query, and this time min device width is going to be start from 427 pixels and all the way to goes to 124 pixels. So collection title width is going to be 90%, and collection box width is going to be 90%, but grid template column is going to be repeat to 1FR, and gap is going to be 4 RAM. Okay, so if we come here, and now it's looking perfect, but as you can see, the moment we are going above 400 and in between 1000 we are displaying 2 in a row. So that's looking perfect, looking good. And this is how it will look actually on the desktop. Okay, that looks absolutely perfect, and we can switch to different component. So our component is also working fine. Let's do the inspect element final more time, and that's look great. Let's close this one, and now we can start working on the other component, which is the day component. So that's we have inside this, where it is inside this collection, and we have to open this, and now let's start working on this. So we're going to import a couple of things. We need image, we need the icons, so md verified, and that's coming from material icons, material UI md. Okay, let's do the internal import. So we need to import the images folder, so images, that's the internal external import. Now let's start working on the JSX. Simply remove this one. We'll take a div, it will have a class called style dot days component, small d, and remove the s. In that we'll have another div, it will have a class called days component with box. We'll have a div, it will have a class called style day component box dash image, and that will take the image, it will have a source images dot, we have the creator background one, and it will have an all class as well, so we'll call it style today day component dash box image, and all tag is going to be, let's say, profile background, width is going to be 500 and height is going to be 300. That's the image, and object fit is going to be cover. So that's the image property, and look pretty good. Let's come down, we'll target the div, it will have a class called style day component box profile. In that we'll take an image, and it will have a source image dot collection image2, all tag will say profile, and width is going to be 200 and height is going to be 200. It will have a class as well, so we'll take this days component box image 1. Okay, altogether we have 3 images, one, so altogether we'll have 4 images, one the main image, and 3 we have the lower images. Object fit is going to be, let's say, cover. So this is the first image. Let's simply select this one and replicate this, okay, 3 times. Now we have to change the classes for the image, so it will be 2 and this become 3. Okay, that's looking perfect. Let's come down, we'll take a div, it will have a class called style day component box title. In that we'll take this h2 and we'll give this amazing collection name of the, and here we'll take another div, it will have a class called day component box title dash info. In that we'll take a div, it will have a class called style day component title info profile. In that we'll take the image, and we have to display the profile image, so image dot user 1, and it will have a alt, we'll say profile, width is going to be 30 and height is going to be 30, and object fit is going to be cover. So that's look good, and it will have a class as well, so day component box dash title info p profile image. It will have a p, we'll say creator, and in that we'll take a span, and here we're going to do the name, so Shweb Pi, and we'll take a small tag, and here we'll have to display the verified icon. Okay, so that's how it will look, looking fine. Let's come down, we'll take another div, it will have a class called style dot day component box dash title info profile. In that we'll take this small and we'll type the ether. Okay, so that's look pretty good. So with this we are done with the JSX part of this day component. So this is the external internal import, and here we have the images, all the images we have. So let's come back to the application, and here you can see we are getting an error. Okay, so it's saved by, so simply remove this. Okay, I don't know why it's come here. Simply remove this one, bye. Remove this one and this one, and here I can say remove this Shweb bye. Save it. Now let's come to the application. Scroll, and here you can see we can displaying the images, main images, collection name, profile, creator name, and the ether. So everything's looking fine. You can see this is how it will look on a desktop, already looking much better. This is how it will look on a mobile device. Let's make it side by side so you guys can see. Okay, let's close this and let's come to the CSS file and let's start working on this. So that's look perfect. So we're going to target the day component. We'll say width is going to be 100%, border radius 1 rem, transition all 0.3 second easy in, cursor pointer, day component. On over effect we want to add a box shadow to var box shadow. So you can see, let's come down, day component dash box image. It will have a border radius 1 rem, day component dash box profile display grid template column repeat 1 3 1fr, and gap is going to be 0.5 rem. So that's how it will look. You can see it's already looking much better. We'll target the day component box profile image 1, border bottom left radius 1 rem, replicate that and change this to 3, and this will become right radius. Save it. Let's come down, target the day component box title padding 1 rem and 2 rem. So that's how it will look. We'll target the left line height is going to be 0. Well, day component box title info, well, display is going to be flex, justify content space between a line item center, component box title info profile image, border radius 50%. Simply replicate that and this will become span, and change this to font width is going to be 600 and padding inline is going to be 0.5 rem. Day component box title price info price small, become the font width is going to be 600, border 3 pixels solid var, and icon color we have. This is what we have here. Simply replicate that and let's assign a padding 0.5 rem and border radius 0.5 rem. So let's come here, go to this and simply type this price. It's not profile, it's price. Okay, so you can see right now we have that border around the price. So let's come back, let's write a media query. So min device width is going to be 320 pixels and the highest is going to be, let's say max device width is going to be, let's say 768 pixels. Take compound box will have a profile, say grid template column repeat 3 1fr. Day component box title info flex direction column gap 2 rem, align item flex start, and padding is going to be 1 rem. So that's how it will look. Perfect. Now let's take this, come out of that media query, normal day component box title, and this will have a padding 1 rem. So look almost really good. Everything's working fine. Let's come here. That's how it's looking on a mode. Let's make a media query responsive, and that's perfect. On click event we are getting this. Let's come here, let's scroll up, and here you can see we have the images, day component box image 2 simply, and this is the image, and here we have made the mistake. So remove this profile and now simply type this. Okay, And if you save it, now we have this border radius. You can see it's working fine. So this is our collection component. So we are done with this entire CSS. So let's make a full screen and let's have a look. You can see this is how it will look, our top list creator. So if you over on it, nice over effect we are getting, nice style, and it's fully responsive for mobile device as well. Let's scroll down all the way, and on over it we have this. So we have the problem in the image. You can see the image and the text is not in equally aligned, so we have to fix that. Okay, but the rest is working fine. So let's come back to the code, and let's come here in the JSX, and here we have this day box title info profile, and let's come here. That's what we have. Select and remove it and save it. Okay, no, bring it back. Let's take this another day component box title info profile, and let's say display is going to be a flex. Okay, save it, and this is how it will look. It's working fine. And now we have to say align item center, and let's assign a gap to 2 RAM. So let's make it 1 RAM. Now it's look perfect. You can see equally aligned, looking great. If we click on this, we can display dynamic data. You can see data is changing. That's looking perfect. Nice over effect we are getting. So let's close this one, and here we are in the collection. So everything's looking good. Let's come here in collections, and we have to say padding bottom 4 RAM. Save it. We'll have some space. No, let's increase this to 10 RAM. Now we have good amount of space from the bottom. We can switch to different pages, different components, working fine. Does look absolutely incredible. Open, close, all the buttons are working fine. Card component. So that's it in this video. Hope you guys have enjoyed and build this beautiful component. So in the next video we're going to build our second component. So that's it. Let's move to the next video, and all the source code are already provided to you in the article. So make sure you save this article and save this playlist where you will find all the videos in this about this full stack NFT marketplace project in the playlist and